Good morning, everybody. Good morning over at Dr. Brandy B Land. Good morning. Let me know if you can hear me over there. Let me know if you can hear me. Good morning out there. Good morning. There we go. Good morning. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. It's Dr. Brandy B, and we've got Attorney Fred. We've got another exciting show for you all. We're so excited to have you with us. We've got our Dr. Brandy B people over here, our Brandy Rudolph Bolling folks over here. And you can also find us over here at Attorney Fred Bolling for Circuit Court.
Fred Bolling for Circuit Court Judge,
Place 13. I'm still
Facebook page.
Yeah, I'm still getting myself together. Hello. I see some people coming in. Elaine Perry, thank you. All right. I cannot see comments on my personal page. Spam video. Let's see what I'm doing here. Oh, there we go. My Auntie Eva says rolling with Bolling. Good morning. Y'all know we aren't techies. Happy birthday, Auntie Eva. It was your day this week. Good morning, Jessica Huff Vasquez. Thank you for joining. Elaine Perry. Awesome. Thank you all so much.
Awesome.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. It is the second Saturday of the month, and that means it's time for He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B featuring Fred.
Good morning. Grand rising
like biscuits. Say. All right. I hadn't seen you in a while, Attorney Fred.
You see me every day. You hadn't seen me on this show.
I just hadn't seen you on the show. Well, we've been busy. We've had football. We've had travel. We've had all kinds of things going on. And you know what? I'm thankful for those things.
Right.
I'm thankful. I'm thankful for you.
Oh, my
goodness. Let's see. Christmas time is coming. I'm trying to work on my gift, y'all. The
gift is going to be, we're going to have us a yard sale.
A yard sale coming up. We're going to have Bolling's Closet. For the people that remember Bolling's Basement, we're going to have to do Bolling's Closet. But we're glad to be back with you all. We've got a big show today. We are talking about Thanksgiving. But before we even get into that, happy Veterans Day. Salute to all of you who have served, who are serving. We certainly appreciate you for your service. You do something that I just don't know that I could do. So thank you for keeping us safe. And I think we underestimate what our veterans do, but they're keeping us safe every day.
I do. And my wife, she looks at me because I am probably like a war film.
Oh, my God.
Any type of documentary, whatever else. And so one of the things I've learned, and it's entertaining, but in later years, I've kind of just looked and saw and realized that what veterans do and put themselves on life, like, it looks glamorous the way Hollywood does it. But if you've ever seen like a 50 caliber round and you think about the fact that in the destruction that happens, that these people put their lives in front of that so that we can live a life of freedom, it's just really humbling and amazing. And hopefully we will get to a point where we we'll study war no more, but until we get to that point, I'd just like to thank all of the servicemen and women who are out there protecting, and not just protecting in times of war, but even thinking back to the great service that was rendered by our men and women in uniform during Hurricane Katrina and the life-saving things that they do domestically and otherwise when there's just like natural disasters and storms. So salute and hats off to all of our veterans.
Salute, and thank you so much. There is a lot that they do that we don't even know about, can't even imagine. So thank you all so very much. And speaking of Thanksgiving and being thankful, this is the month that happens. Thanksgiving. Woo-hoo. Happy Thanksgiving, Fred. Y'all know me. If you follow me all the time, you know that I'm already getting the menu together in my mind. I have already started, what do y'all do? You soak the greens and snap the beans. I'm getting ready to do all of that and have a very lovely meal for the family. It's going to be a wonderful time.
Y'all did hear my wife say that she was already getting it together in her mind.
In my mind. Yeah.
So just know that she's got it together in her mind, but my fingers and my feet are the ones that are going to be going through the ordeal.
And guess what? I am thankful for him and his fingers and his feet who do such a great job in the kitchen. But yes, Thanksgiving. You know something I noticed this year, Fred, is that a lot of people after Halloween, they just skip straight into let me put up the Christmas tree.
Man, I saw somebody talking about couldn't wait till November the 1st. I think we're going to start just, hey, look, let's just leave the stuff up.
I know. I mean, you know, some people actually do that. They leave the tree up, and it becomes the Easter tree, the 4th of July tree, the Veterans Day tree, the Thanksgiving tree, and then the Christmas tree.
Also the tree.
But I just have never noticed so many people who went straight from Halloween into Christmas. I mean, is that what you all do out there on Facebook land? Just let us know. Are you all skipping Thanksgiving? I mean, the decorations. Of course, you're going to have the meals, green beans, tomatoes, potatoes. You know, you're going to do that. But do you skip getting excited about that? I mean, in our house, we put it up usually around.
I don't think they. It's
the day
probably
after Thanksgiving,
or
probably, later.
Well, we're not gonna light them this year, but you know, just looking at the way Facebook is going, I will probably go and put those trees. Well, there's peer pressure. I think that, you know, when we went from having one tree to like in our house putting up how many we had last year?
10.
10 trees. I think the fact that if I have to put up 10 trees, I want to see it for more than a week.
Yeah, because we didn't have much more than a week. My auntie Eva says that they've started Black Friday sales already. And looks like Walmart, they sent me something because y'all know I love Walmart. They said that they are going to be doing something all week, all month.
I think they started Friday.
Already. So I guess so, but we are thankful for Thanksgiving, and we have so much to be thankful for. Just being able to either hear or see or just get up and walk. You know, I just want to take a personal moment of shout out. Many people don't know, but my mom had surgery, a revision of her right knee last year, and she came walking into my office. I was on the phone with somebody, and I looked up, and she didn't have her cane, and I thought, oh my God, what a blessing. You know, that's just something that every day, because there are people who don't have the ability to walk and they have legs, and so there's just so much to be thankful for, even waking up.
I think your mama been able to do that for about 2-3 months.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
Oh, but she like hanging out with the grandkids. I don't know, them kids kind of tough. She might run on home now. I don't know, but she's welcome.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just so much to be thankful for, and so we as Christians, we thank God for our many blessings. So let us know in the chat on Facebook what you are thankful for. I think we're going to go on out.
No, we got 5 minutes.
Oh, we've got 5 minutes. I didn't know if that was 5 seconds. We got a different engineer with us today. We thank God for him. He is super amazing. The engineers here are just absolute rock stars. So
I'll tell you what, and we're talking about thankful, and you mentioned moms. It's a strange thing. I actually, in the month of October the 4th, 10/4, my mom signed out and went on home to be with her Lord and Savior. And, you know, it's an odd thing because as we now get ready to celebrate the first major holiday without her, you know, it's like, hey, man, and it's Thanksgiving. It's like, I mean, are you thankful? And, you know, it's a tough thing, but you know what? I go back and I think I'm thankful for the fact that I had 50 years plus of amazing care and love and an example of a mother. And, you know, my wife's looked at me and she's just waiting. It's like something, there's going to be a meltdown coming soon. And I'm just not sure that that's going to be that meltdown, because something I reflected on is the fact that my mom's last words to me was not, "Son, I love you." And I was like, well, wow, you know, what was it? And it was, "Son, I'm proud of you." And I just thought about it, and something came to me, and I'm sure it's just God. It's indicated that every mama loves a child. Osama bin Laden, I'm sure his mama loved him. And you know, you will see folks go in the courtroom and their kid done shot up 50,000 people, and somebody gonna say, well, but he was a good boy and he loved his mama. But I'm not certain that every mother leaves here being proud of their sons and daughters. And the fact that my mom was proud of me and expressed that, as I sit here, I can't help but be thankful. Because at the end of the day, she was not mine. She was God's. And he loaned it to me, and he gave me a good long 50 years of absolute love and adoration. So thankful this holiday season for a mom that was, that is, and that never will be.
Amen. And I'm thankful for the son that she gave me. Uh-oh. We got to keep it G-rated.
And what did she tell you?
Oh, my mother-in-law. And I love calling her mother-in-law. I know that mother-in-law is the term that people use, but I like mother-in-law because we were related by the law, because I was married and still am lawfully married to her son. And so she is my mother-in-law, but I loved her and I know that she loved me. When I first met her, she told me, and you all, if you did not catch the episode of the Mother's Day episode, we had both of our mothers in the studio with us for Mother's Day, so that would have been May. And she was quite hilarious. But she told me when I first met Fred, she said, "Remember, baby, his bark is his bite is weaker than his bark," or something like that. And I believe that's true. I listen to that bark, y'all, but I just know how to go on and get that Christmas list together. And what she always told me was to make it light. So if I said, well, we've got this to do, this to do, this to do, and all the holidays that are at our house, because I cook the food.
That's why it's there.
That's why it's there, because I'm cooking. She always said to make it light. And so I want to encourage you today, in my sweet mother-in-law's memory, whatever it is that might be stressing you out, whatever it is that may have you trying to figure out how you're going to do it, how you're going to get it done, just remember to make it light. If you don't do that any day but today, and I think that last month, the second Saturday, we were actually at her funeral. No, we weren't. It was that Friday we were at her funeral. And then that next day, y'all, we were just exhausted as those things go. But today, I want everybody to really just work on making it light. There's enough heaviness in the world to deal with. Death, unemployment, and all sorts of things. But two things. Despite that, we still have so much to be thankful for. And there's still something that we can do to make it light. So in memory of Mrs. Lenora Bolling, make sure that you make it light. All right. And on that note, guys, we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome to He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B featuring Fred. All right, y'all, make it light out there. My Auntie Eva, thank you. She says, I am thankful for all of my true friends and wonderful family. And true friends, that's a great adjective, because everybody that's your friend is not a true one. I was somewhere last night and a girl said you have to know who your friends are. Some, if you're talking about a tree, some are like the leaves that go back and forth. Some are like the limbs that in certain seasons completely break off. But you want friends that are like the root. They are there through thick and thin. And hey, and if the tree goes over, the whole root goes with it. I've never seen a root, the whole thing not go. Have you? Usually it goes all over together.
Absolutely.
So those friends are there to the end. I like that. All right, let's see. Need to be reminded to make it light. Miss Petway Pritchard says, love this. I always remember to make it light. Absolutely. In memory of Mrs. Lenora Bolling. I can't take credit for that. Not this Mrs. Bolling, but my mother-in-law, honey, because it is the law that convicted us. Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Your mother actually said make it light as well.
She did?
Man, when
She'll
it came,
be trying to make it light on me, getting coffee every day.
When it came to your ring.
Oh, when my mom, can y'all believe my mama told her, well, just get up. Told that man get her a little chip. What? She didn't have a chip. Now, her first one was. It was a little bit invisible. I mean, it was small, y'all. It was small. I said, what you tell that man that for?
Well, look, did I follow your mama's advice?
I'm not wearing it today. I'm not wearing it today. The thing is a little bit big. I'm scared to wear it sometimes, y'all. But yes. Mrs. May says every day is a holiday, especially when you know what you know about life and death. Absolutely. Tina Wood said, can we be thankful first? That's right, sis. Can we be thankful first? People just skipping straight over. I saw Miss Dodger says we start, and that's true. People don't even wait until Halloween. Halloween better fall on the classic if you want people to actually wait until after Halloween to get those decorations up. You got somebody watching over here. Julia Bell, Auntie Julia is watching on our on Fred's professional page,
hey, Auntie Julia
which
Bell.
is Fred Bolling Ford Judge. We need to figure out what the exact name of the page is, so you can tell people to go there.
Oh, you can't turn it while we. No, you can't turn it while we.
We're so happy that you all are here with us this morning. We're super excited, and yes, we get along like this all the time. Just like we fuss on here, we fuss in real life.
I don't do no fussing.
Yeah, he does. His mama didn't tell me about his bark and his bite for nothing. She knew.
My wife making up stuff on.
She knew it for 30 plus years before I did. All right, y'all. Well, so I'm gonna start getting this dinner together. This Thanksgiving dinner pretty soon. I've been on a sweet potato kick. I've been wanting yams. Miss Mays gave us some sweet potatoes that were yummy.
We're going to get some yams going then.
I like yams.
Because I am going to start early.
Can you put some pecans on one side, one little corner?
Oh, you don't want pecans on yours?
I said, I want them in mine.
I put pecans on the whole thing.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I'm just making sure. I'm going to allow him to make the sweet potatoes this year.
We're probably going to mix it up and put it in some little champagne glasses so folks can make it how they want to make it.
I like that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm excited about this next segment. Are you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's see what time it is. 10:18. We're a little bit over, but that's okay. It's about you. It's about you. We thank you all for joining us today. Danielle Burrell says, good morning and blessings, Dr. B. Hadn't seen you in a while. Been missing you on Fridays. But you know you are always welcome. Our representative father on Focus on It Fridays at noon Central at Dr. Brandy B. All right. We are back. Welcome to He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B featuring Fred.
All right.
And now we're going to get into the part of our show where we bring on our guest. And our guest is none other than Fred Bolling. Let me tell you about Fred Bolling. Fred Bolling is the sole attorney and owner of the Bolling Law Firm, LLC. He's been in that capacity since 2012, but he is no newbie to the law. He was a partner with Thomas Means Gillis and CPC from 2002 to 2012, and before that, he was a law clerk. He served in juvenile drug court. I can't read this morning. For the Superior Court of the District of Columbia. Y'all know that's D.C. He's been a substitute teacher. He was at Vaca and Chalkville campuses of the Alabama Department of Youth Services from 1995 to 1996. So he's been very involved with the law, very well versed. He's got a lot of civic involvement. And if you know him, most of his posts are going to be about serving the youth with youth football. He's wearing his Titusville Knights sweatshirt now. The 12U boys are in the championship game.
Well, at semifinal game. They win today at Park West. They on to the final.
Yeah, so that's his real love. He loves coaching young boys in football. President of the Black Law Student Association, former member and officer of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Enough.
Omega Lamplighters. in their mentoring, which is the mentoring organization for Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. He's in the Knights of Peter Claver, which is the Catholic organization, because Fred is Catholic. Knights of Columbus, sports coach, sponsor, Magic City Youth Football, Titusville Youth Sports Association. I mean, oh my God, he's been Kids and Jobs draft with one of the local TV stations here, past board members of the Western Area YMCA, and of the Northeast YMCA. I mean, he's done it all. He went to Howard Law School. That was after attending and graduating from Auburn University. He is a John Carroll High School graduate, and he went to Our Lady of Fatima Elementary School. Let me welcome Fred Bolling, Esquire, attorney Frederic Allen Bolling.
And as I say, I'm just Fred.
He's just Fred. He really is just Fred. And y'all know I'm just Brandy too.
No pretenses here.
No pretenses. Well, let's just jump right in. So we know, Fred, that you are running for Circuit Court Judge, Place 13, which is in Jefferson County, Alabama. And of course, we want you to vote for it. But what made you run?
Well, what made me run for Circuit Court Judge, Place 13. I actually, this is not my first run. I actually ran once before, but my true passion and heart has lied with a circuit judge position. I've also done so much work with youth that when I was approached the last time about family court, it kind of dovetailed into what I do. And I thought about it and said, well, that would be an area to get into. But my real passion and heart lied in the circuit court position. And so when I reflected on some things this year and looking at the landscape, I indicated and thought to myself that it was time. I prayed on it because some folks have asked, well, there were a couple of folks who qualified earlier and, had you put your name out there, 2 months ago, even before qualifying began, you may have been in a situation where you were running and didn't have to do anything. But I don't operate in today's day on my timing. I operate in God's timing. And there's a lot of things that have transpired this year. And just in culmination of all of that, and after the prayerful consideration of my family's time and all the other, I got the call and the voice to tell me that this is your time to go and get on out there. And at the end of the day, it's about what I've done throughout my time since being back here, and that is to try to serve the community in an area that's needed.
Awesome. I like that. Timing, prayer, praying, listening to God, because we know that our time is certainly not His. So being obedient is so important, because He will make you be obedient, and we often don't want that.
Right.
Circuit court, district court, just tell us real quick what the differences are and what type of cases will you hear in this Place 13 seat.
Okay. And so circuit court, district court, the distinction there is one that is based on, in the civil side, the amount of money that's in controversy typically is the dividing mark. Circuit, anything above $10,000 has to be in circuit court. So that in any case that the amount in controversy goes to that level has to originate in circuit court. District court does not have jurisdiction to entertain, and those numbers actually may have, from time to time, may change and modify, just because of the way cases come, and inflation and everything else. From time to time, the courts may raise or lower what that base level amount is. But the circuit court handles the more expensive cases, for lack of a better term. And then as circuit court also, though, can handle any of the other cases. It's just that the district courts are designed to handle your smaller amount in controversy cases, and so it will be delegated there. In most jurisdictions, a circuit court judge can handle basically civilly anything that's not a criminal court matter. Now, in Jefferson County, it's a little bit different in that, in addition to the criminal court that is not going to be circuit matters, you also have courts that are set up to handle specifically domestic relations, which would be divorces and that sort of thing. And then you also have a designated family court, which handles most of our juvenile matters and things of that nature, as well as child custody and child support and that sort of thing. And so, whereas circuit court judges could hear those type of cases, maybe in other jurisdictions, in Jefferson County, the courts are actually split and set apart. So, Place 13 is what you would traditionally think about when you're talking about civil cases. And the first things that come to mind would be accidents and people suing somebody. But it's more than that. That Circuit Place 13 seat, like many of the other circuit civil case judges' positions in Jefferson County, say, for instance, if the city had an initiative where they wanted to go and address something dealing with their homeless, or they want to talk about whether or not they can fund certain civic initiatives to help our folks. The city is constrained by certain laws, and so citizens can file lawsuits or temporary restraining orders if they disagree with what's going on. And so matters like that come before that court as well. It's not just the random accident case. Class action lawsuits. And in fact, even though the federal courts are designed to take on federal discriminatory issues, the courts, if there is a concurrent state law issue, you can actually file some federal based claims in the circuit courts of Jefferson County. So the position is one that really needs and requires someone who has a vast variety of experiences in litigating the law and understanding of what goes on there. And so that's why I'm seeking a seat. I have since 1998 I've been practicing, and my wife says, well, wait a minute now, you didn't graduate school until 1999. But while I was at Howard, I actually participated in a student law clinic. So I had a special license to practice in the clinic through the law school and actually represent clients in the District of Columbia.
Wow.
And so since 1998, I have been a licensed practicing attorney, even while I was a student.
So you were licensed in the District of Columbia?
I was licensed in the District of Columbia as a student. And then after completing law school and graduating with honors, I might add.
With honors, of course.
I then took the bar here back home because my intention was always to come home. And proud to say I was a first-time passage on the Alabama State Bar.
Of course you were. Despite
the fact that my paperwork did not get sent in from my dear beloved Howard University. And so
not gonna do that to Howard.
No. They corrected it on the spot. They loved me and they got it right. But about 6 days before taking the bar, I was informed that I was not registered and my stuff had not been signed off on, so I did not have a seat to take the bar. So with the deans and the other support at Howard, we got that corrected in about 2 days. I packed up all of my belongings, moved down to Montgomery, an extended stay hotel, and through all of that, managed to persevere. And that's why I understand that it ain't your time and it's God's time.
It's God's time. So what I heard from that list of, just that question is that you're well trained.
Absolutely.
We know that Howard University gave you a good education, and we understand that you work well under pressure. I mean, because if many people, if they heard 6 days out that they weren't registered for the biggest test of their life, they may not want to do it. But we know that you still operate under God's timing, and knowing that the other thing is, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. I love it. We're going to take another break, and we'll be back with Fred answering more questions on He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B, featuring Fred. Thank y'all for listening.
All right.
Thank you, Luana. She says, good information, Attorney Fred. Bolling, absolutely. Dr. Erica says, good morning, all the way from Texas, y'all. All the way from Texas. We've got Texas, we've got Philly, we've got Birmingham, of course. We've got McCalla in the building. Shout out to McCalla, those people who are far west. We've got Fultondale, I believe that is, or Gardendale in the building. Thank you all so much for watching us. Thank you all for watching us. We're going to be back with Dr. Brandy B and Fred, but you sound like you know what you're talking about.
I know a little something.
You know a little something. Okay, you know a little something.
I know a little something.
All right, well, that's exciting. That's exciting. I'm excited for you to be able to round out this second half of the show and tell the people a little bit more about you, because people always say, vote for this person, and we'll get into that, but right. I want the people to really know who you are. Now, I know who you are. I know who you are.
Ooh.
Because of the law. The law. All and right. Love. Ooh, wee.
Love and law.
Love and law. Oh, man. Look at that. But I want the...
That's show number 2.
That's show number 2. Love and the law. I like it. Yeah, we're going to have a spin-off. We'll quit our day jobs and just be on the radio.
Just being silly.
Well, yeah, we're being silly. We can't quit our day jobs. 2 minutes.
Oh, we might. I mean, all the interesting characters in Birmingham. That's a series of shows.
I don't know that we can quit our day jobs. If I quit my day job, all these people at Dr. Brandy B might protest. Start a riot.
We got to take care of the babies.
We got to take care of the baby.
Right.
We're taking care of babies in 25 states that I'm licensed in, so we better not stop practicing law and medicine. Thank you all so much for joining. We hope that you're interested, having a good time. If you have a question for Attorney Fred, we can see your comments on Facebook. So feel free to go ahead and let us know those questions. We'll answer those questions. He will. I won't. I don't practice the law. But I can answer your medical questions if you have those. Our friend Janet Ruffin is here. Hello. She's all the way from Bessemer. I mean, we're bringing in all kinds of cities and countries to our show. International. I love it. Yes. This is fun. We thank you all for joining us. We got a few more questions. Look at her. She's blowing us kisses. I love it. Right back at you. To all our fans and listeners, we really appreciate
all those scholarships she's getting those babies in softball over there.
All right, guys, we are back. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Welcome to the second half of He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B featuring
Fred.
That's Fred, guys. So if you missed out on the first half, just a little quick recap. We thanked our veterans. We questioned why in the world people are skipping Thanksgiving and going from classic to Christmas, as our friend Daji Hendricks said. And then we started talking about Fred, who is running for Circuit Court Judge, place 13, here in Jefferson County, Alabama. And so Fred told us about his history, some of the great things that he's done. We want you to go check that out on Facebook if you missed it. But I was telling the people on Facebook during the commercial break that I know you.
Right.
Your mama knew you. Your daddy knows you. Your siblings know you. But tell us specifically, because we know that the people are rolling with Bolling, y'all. We won't be rolling with Bolling, right? Come March the 5th of 2024. But sometimes people might say, well, what's so special about him? Why is he even qualified? Why should I endorse him? Tell the people why they should endorse you.
Absolutely. And this is one of my this is one of my pet peeves, is that of course I seek the seat because I believe and I know that I'm qualified to do the job. But I really want the citizens of Jefferson County, Birmingham, to start being good stewards of all of what they have. Mm-hmm. And one of the most important things they have in our system of democracy is to go and their vote. Mm-hmm. And so when someone asks you to support them, to endorse them or whatever, even if it's somebody that you've known for a million years and you know them personally, if you don't know what their qualifications with regard to the position they're seeking, I want to encourage all of you to ask them why. Now, what's my why? My why is that I, as an attorney, Fred Bolling, have been engaged in the practice of law for more than 25 years now. And I've done it in a vast variety of cases. And I've been able to develop my legal mind, and my knowledge, not necessarily because I had some master plan, but because God, fate, whatever you want to say, allowed me to be in positions to be exposed. When I finished up law school, I did a 2-year clerkship, well, about a year and a half clerkship in D.C., working with juvenile drug court. That opened my eyes to a lot. I had a chance to speak to my judge I was assigned to at the time, a guy by the name of George W. Mitchell, who by happenstance was a alum of A.H. Parker High School and had gone off to Washington, D.C. to pursue law. One of the most important things I took from dealing with that was that he told me the story, because I told him when I came in the interview that I'm going to need October, whatever that date we were getting sworn in for having taken the summer bar, I was going to need that date in October off because I was going to be getting sworn in. And he later remarked to me that he was just absolutely astonished and amazed. And that's when he decided to hire me, because he said, I just in my whole life had never seen someone come out and just so matter of factly said they were going to go down there and pass the bar, and so they were going to need to be off, and they weren't concerned about whether they were going to pass the bar the first time. And I later asked him, well, why was that so surprising? And he was like, well, his experience of why he never came home. He had every intention on coming back to Birmingham. But when he got ready to take the bar, he came to take the Alabama bar. And as a Howard Law alum, the question that he was given that made the determination of whether he would pass the bar was was tasked with doing a writing as to why Brown versus Board of Education was an unlawful decision by the Supreme Court of the United States. Of course, he knew then that he was not going to practice law in Alabama. And so early on in that experience, I understood that there are still vestiges of things that need to be corrected. So that first experience, not so much because I was in juvenile drug court, but it was because I got a chance to reinforce and to rededicate that everything I did from that point forward needed to be dedicated to seriously preparing myself to fight whatever the ultimate battle that God was going to have me to fight with regard to the law. Now, going beyond that, I then came home after a couple of years and practiced down in Perry County, Alabama, with my good friend Robert Turner and his father, Robert Turner Sr. Robert Jr. is now actually the district attorney for that area, and my dear friend. And we practice everything from folks arguing over chickens to hunting rights and major litigation of all nature. And Mr. Turner was one of the ones that said, you know the books, so now we're going to throw you to the fire. I remember my first trial, I thought he had left me out on my own. He was in the back to have my back, but I didn't know that. He just told me, hey, you know evidence, you know the rules, go down there and try the case. And so, I had to feet held to the fire and whatnot, and did good there, and practiced there for a while before coming back to Thomas Means. And at Thomas Means, I dealt with civil litigation initially with the Department of Youth Services, wherein we had multi-jurisdiction cases. There were cases pending in about 6-7 different federal and state courts, and we were coordinating all of that litigation. And at the same time, our firm was handling the defense of Richard Scrushy at the time. So there was a lot of high-level litigation that went on, stuff that I was blessed to be a part of, understanding how to work these matters. And then at the conclusion of my time there, stepping out on faith and having my own practice, and in that private practice with just me representing Alabama State University and colleges in Selma and various school boards over the time. So I have the qualifications as far as the variety of cases and the legal knowledge. and the understanding of how important writing is to the matter. But beyond that, so that's the first why. Beyond that, I've often heard so many candidates talk about the people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I promise you, this campaign season, you will probably hear that from 85 to 90% of the candidates that are out on the trail. And I agree. That statement, that sentiment is spot on. But the thing that's so interesting to me is that if you take a moment and just say, well, what have you shown to demonstrate that you care? You probably realize that most of these folks are just using, and I'm not going to say most of these folks, but a lot of them are using that phrase as a cute, catchy phrase. But when you look at Fred Bolling, I'm quite proud to say that for this 25 years that I've been practicing, 20 or so or more, I've been back here, and as vigilant as I am in doing my work as an attorney, I've worked just as tirelessly to give back to the community in almost every aspect. My number one passion is the youth football and cheerleading, and to see those kids understand that they can have something in their neighborhood that is on par and equal to what is being brought in any neighborhood in this county, in this region. My focus on what we do for our kids at Titusville is that whatever experiences you could hope to have if you were out in Hoover or Spain Park or wherever else, we can provide it right here. We can provide a standard and a level of excellence right where we stand. And so that has been a push and a passion of mine, but it doesn't just extend there. It extends to and oftentimes I don't talk about this stuff, and I have intentionally not talked about it because I don't do it to get something. I do it because I love my community. I do it because I believe in the school teachers and that they need some support. It's because I also believe and understand and love that these kids are bright and they're brilliant, and they simply need for all of us to get on board to help. So I challenge you, when folks, and you're going to hear that phrase, go ask them, well, tell me, what have you done to demonstrate how much you care and love this community? And I just say, hey, don't ask me. Go and talk to the teachers at Hayes when I did the law day there, or at Princeton Elementary where I painted classrooms of a teacher that has never taught any of my kids, or the meals that have been provided for teachers, and not just ordering them a couple sandwiches, but actually literally fixing that food myself.
With my help.
Or the random drop off of cleats and gloves and sports equipment to high schools, just so that kids will be able to compete and do what they love on the field. Again, I don't do these things always to try to get attention. I do it because I love the community. My wife asked me, now tell me, make sure I understand, we're going to spend money to run a race, to earn a job that will cause you to have less time, and we're going to do all of that for potentially equal or less money? And she looks at me, it's like, make it make sense. But she understands that it does make sense, because at the end of the day, we need someone in office, not just in the particular job of judge, but in office, that will really show the example of, this is how much I care. This is how much we're going to be dedicated to being truthful, having integrity, making sure that the people will always be put first, and making sure that there will be no scandals, there will be no misappropriations, there will be nothing other than being a public servant to better the community.
Okay.
That's my why.
All right. We're going to take a real quick break. We'll be back for more He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B featuring Fred. All right. So I realized I had comments over on my Dr. Brandy B page. Hey, y'all. Hey. I missed you all, but that's okay. We've got our friend over here, Chris Dawn, all in New Orleans. She left us, y'all. Miss Stacy said, my kid's new doctor. Hey, girl, thank you for joining. Let's see. Tanya Evans is watching. Erica Harris, hey, my family. I think Priscilla said she's going to tell Faith you have her headphones on, Fred. Chrissy Parker is watching. Doug Swan. Jaqueline Steele, Brandy Lachey Schubert, Chris Dawn says she's rolling with Bolling, Priscilla's rolling with Bolling, Toya O'Neill, way back from LA to Fatima, is clapping. Jamelia Ferris, thought about you the other day. Hello, hello, hello. Miss Renee Mitchell Ingram says she's always thankful for Dr. Brandy, doesn't know where her family would be without me today. I thank you all so much for hanging in there. And being with me for so long. Chris Dawn says she's thankful for the Bolling chicken salad that is coming her way. It sounds like somebody's gonna be.
Chris,
girl, I'm gonna get you some whipped right up. I'm gonna get you some chicken salad. I'm gonna whip it right up for you myself. My classmate Tariq St. Patrick says I'm on Fred's side. Doesn't matter what Brandon Rudolph Bolling says. Hey, however it comes, we taking votes all the way. Let's see. Auntie Eva Bryan in Philadelphia says you are awesome, nephew. Latina Woods says so. What will your position consist of, because you already got it. You already got it. I think that's going to be the type of cases that he mentioned earlier, car accidents, if somebody wants to sue the city, which, hey, I didn't even know you could sue the city.
And even more, like I said, even more than car accidents, like I said, that we see nationally some of the trends about rolling back rights and that sort of thing. And so cities that take stance to be on the side of what's just and right, some of those decisions are going to be challenged. There are issues that people are debating and arguing right now that are valuable and critical decisions throughout the country. And this is going to be the issue. Not just having someone that's going to be brave and bold enough to give an opinion and rule and say this is where I'm going to stand, but in deciding a case and standing on it, you need to have someone who also has done the writing and understands how to write the opinion such that the ruling you made is not just a ceremonial ruling that shows where you stand, but is a ruling that will be able to stand scrutiny once it is appealed. Doesn't make any difference if you made a ruling to say I'm not going to allow something if you have not written an opinion such that the courts can't bother it. So I'm not going to say that every opinion I give is going to be 100% untouched, but I can promise you that it's going to be well written and it's going to be thought out. And if they disturb it, they're going to have to change the law, not just for us, but for them as well. And that's my commitment. This is not an end for me. This is the beginning of a very tough job. And a tough job because I'm going to do it the right way.
I like that. Doing it the right way and making it light on the people who've been wronged.
Right.
Janet Ruffin says, I can attest to the Bolling family has supported Winona's softball faithfully for the past 7 years and did not want any recognition. And y'all, she brought us there and recognized us in the spring. It was so touching. But no, we just do stuff. We've done so much stuff. Janet Ruffin knows she can call me and just about ask for anything and get it from me. I think we're back on, Fred.
All right.
We're back on. Welcome, y'all. We're just having fun in the studio. We have a lot of engagement on social media. You can follow us right now. We have a few more minutes left in this show. At Brandy Rudolph Bolling. There's a lot of activity there. You can follow us at Dr. Brandy B, which is my professional page, and you can follow us at Fred Bolling for Circuit Court Judge Place 13. I did just want to. You gave very detailed answer, Fred. Attorney Fred. I'm sorry. About.
I may have given him a little too much.
No. You can never give to people too much because the thing is that they want to know, and voters are not ignorant, and people are not naive, and Google is real. And so one of the downsides, Fred, to not boasting, or not even saying boasting, but just not publicizing as much of what you do, is that when people go to look, it may not be there. So I strongly encourage people to go back and listen to the entirety of this video or the recording. I'll post it as well, and listen to all the, the expansive amount of history as far as his legal expertise and training. But there is a question here, and I do think that this is important. Janet Ruffin says, I know you and Brandy very well. Y'all know I'm rolling with Bolling. But for the person who does not know you, tell them quickly why they should vote for you. And I think that's, I kind of listened and thought that's,
Yeah, I think we were kind of doing that as she was typing that, and it shows that great minds think alike. And appreciate the question, Ms. Ruffin. But again, the variety of cases that I've handled over time, the experience, the commitment to the community, because again, that legal minds can there's a baseline of training and having passed the bar and everything else, that theoretically you could read a case and figure out an answer. Of course, when these cases are litigated, the attorneys are going to be giving you opinions and writing briefs and that sort of thing. So you could probably kind of mold your way through some of this to do it. But you got to also understand this. If it was as simple as give me the facts, plug it into a computer, and the law is the law is the law, and I'm going to spit out an answer, then there'd be no need of having trials and all of this expensive litigation that happens. The bottom line is that even a judge who is sitting there impartially, and that is the role of the judge is to sit impartially. But the judge is the image of Lady Justice being blind is probably one of the poorest images ever. The idea was to say that Lady Justice is going to be impartial, but in being impartial, a judge cannot ever be blind. A judge has to use all of their senses. They have to see, they have to hear, they have to be able to feel and empathize with what comes before them. Because again, we weren't there when the things happened. And so we have to look on, and you have to look to see what has that judge's experiences been, what have they revealed as far as their mindset and thinking, what type of person is this that's going to hear this case. Because everything that you have in your history and background, how you relate to people, whether or not you respect people, whether or not you are kind and loving to people, all of that plays into how you're going to interpret what comes before you. So what's your dedication and what's your history of your relation to the community all plays a factor and should be considered. So the variety of cases, my demonstrated love and commitment to the community of Jefferson County, and then the integrity and temperament of understanding that even though I may hear the same thing 50 times in a week, that individual client that's coming in, that individual litigant that is coming before me, this may be the one time in their life. This may be something, my decision can change their life for the better or worse. And I appreciate and understand that. And I understand and the gravity of that responsibility. It's nothing to take light to be the judge in any situation. Mm-hmm. Biblically, it talks about being cautious in judging. This is a sacred responsibility, civically, religiously, however you want to put it. Anytime someone sits as a judge, that is a sacred responsibility, and I take it as such. It's funny. It's like I'm not running to get invited to the parties that I was excluded from, because I've always been invited to those parties. I've always had a seat at those tables. I understand that in seeking this position, when so blessed, I am going to work to get your cases heard and resolved as quickly as possible, because sometimes justice delayed really is justice denied. If I take 3 years to decide a matter that at the end of the 3 years, I've determined that you were right, But in that 3-year period of time, your life has gone to shambles because you didn't have an additional $100,000 to buy you over while I make the determination that you're right. Then it don't really matter that I eventually prove that you're right. So I understand that. My dedication to you is that if I ever get to a point where I cannot work tirelessly for you as judge, I won't continue to be judge. You won't have to ask me out. I will step down. But that's not going to happen. I'm going to, hopefully I don't die in the seat, on the bench. But for the time that I dedicate to serving, I am going to be a tireless servant to the Jefferson County bench, just like I've been a tireless servant in other things that I do.
I felt that. I really did. And so it sounds like, because I'm taking notes, a variety of cases and a history. You've even written to the Supreme Court. You care about your community, and you have integrity and the temperament to do this very serious job of being a judge.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great answer, Ms. Ruffin said. On point, says Mrs. Mays. Mrs. Mays actually had 2 other questions that we missed. I'm going to let you think on this hypothetical right here that she has posed. But while we're thinking on that, how long is the seat, Mrs. Mays asked earlier?
The election,
the position
is a 6-year term. It comes around every 6 years.
6 years. All right. And then Mrs. Mays, Dolores Senior asks, if possible, give a hypothetical example. And guys, let me just say this real quick. If you're not following us, we only have about 4 more minutes on the air, but we will continue this conversation on Facebook for as long as you all need us. Attorney Bolling, is that something that you have time to do? Sure. Thank God for good babysitters. Mama is with the grandkids, and we pray that they are doing good. I see that Franklin Bolling wrote that he was watching on my mother's post. So we'll hang out here so you can answer more questions. So if you're not already, probably the best thing to do is to go to Dr. Brandy B, because that is public, or you can head on over to Frederic Bolling for Circuit Court Judge Place 13. Both of those are on Facebook. The other is my personal account. I think you might have to be my friend to see it there. That is where a lot of activity is going on, but so is it at
so with regard to Ms. Mays, Dolores Senior, there's a thin line about how to deal with and handle hypotheticals, because you don't necessarily want a judge expanding and expressing how they may determine a matter. So just to be on the safe side of that, I will kind of point to a matter that that was a pretty high profile matter that emanated in this court. That's something that people may not have thought would have been something that would have been in these courts. And that is dealing with some of the issues surrounding education and what can happen there. There are cases that could begin in the circuit courts that talk about discrimination, and it would be tied to other issues, but also could bring in that federal question of discrimination, dealing with Title IX and equal access to education. Some of the things that are high profile and that are critical. If you think about what judges have to handle, for instance, when the child out at Huffman, we had the tragedy there. You know, the first thing that folks started saying, well, hey, you want to sue the school system. Well, a lot of folks don't understand the school systems, the local school boards are agencies of the state of Alabama, and as such, they have an absolute immunity with regard to many civil claims and matters. And so there are a variety of high-profile matters that just don't come across your typical everyday practice. But that being said, a judge needs to be very versed and versatile in being able to handle all of those. And that's probably a million other examples that we could go through. And I will follow up with that with you if you have any other questions or examples or specific examples. We can talk offline.
All right, guys. the time has come. This has been amazing. I hope that you all have enjoyed getting to know Attorney Bolling. This was about him. Of course, I'm Dr. Brandy B, child and adolescent psychiatrist. Go on over to that page. Follow me. We're going to continue the conversation. But for right now, we'll see you all next second Saturday on He Said, She Said with Dr. Brandy B.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you all. Thank you all so much for the question. Mrs. Mays, was that good? We have more time. We were kind of rushing because we were up against airtime.
But since we're still talking here, so aside from some of those that may have come up before, and in the area of discrimination, let's just say we talk a lot about whether or not the city, what the city can do with regard to housing, supporting of education, and that sort of thing. When the city decides to take action, the various state laws determine what the cities can and cannot do. And so there may be some initiatives that the city wants to do that may sound great for the community. But again, citizens have a right to seek permission from the courts to say that you can or you cannot do something. And so when those type challenges come, oftentimes in the form of a temporary restraining order or something along that nature, you may have an important city initiative that judge is going to have to determine whether it can or cannot go forward, and they're going to have to be spot on. And it's not going to be enough to also just boldly stand for what they believe. If they believe it's controversial or up in the air in question, they're going to also have to know how to write to that issue to be able to preserve whatever that opinion is. So Ms. Mays, I'll get with you and we can talk more about anything specific that you want to hear about. But thank y'all. I'm thankful for y'all coming in and look forward to seeing y'all on the trail. And have a great Thanksgiving if I don't see you before.
Sure.
Oh, no. I think it goes up.
Yeah, that's the studio.
All right. Were there any other questions? We're having to relocate for the next crew that's coming in.
I need y'all to go.
But we're still here.
Well, you certainly sound like a rude asshole,
No,
but that's fine.
No, we got to be on air in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
Get the umbrella. All right. We had a not so kind gentleman. And usually is not anyone here coming after. But today there was. All right. Well, we love you all. We thank you all for.
And good temperament does not mean pushover.
To push over, he's not. But we appreciate you all. Let's see, Miss Brittany says, good morning, Judge and Dr. Bolling. Hello.
Anytime somebody said that they don't, and I'm not trying to be rude, you absolutely are trying to be rude.
Eric Evans says Fred was telling the truth. That was rude of him. Yep. Now y'all know if you know my husband, he is not a pushover, and he is 100% passionate rather. Definitely not passive.
And mind you, we are at a very, very conservative radio station, and so when he says I'm not trying to be rude, he absolutely was trying to be rude. So if you tune in to that radio station, you're probably going to hear some absolute right-wing foolishness right about now. But again,
we're glad for the opportunity that we have to get our message out during
absolutely.
The hour that we do. Let's see over here. We've got Lish Wills. We have several people. The Myrie family is rolling with bowling. We appreciate you all. Melbo. Nick Jim says, I think that she is in the Myrie family. She says, Fred, your answer to the question as to why one should vote for you is wonderful. It shows your true character as a person, citizen, profession, and most of all, your love for people and the community. We thank you for that. Nia Nicole, Dr. Felicia Fortune, Kimberly Case Larkins, Mama Rudolph says, always a good show, very informative. This was a good one, y'all. We will do this. We'll be back second Saturday in December and January and February. And then we will trust you all to go out and be very good ambassadors for Fred. We appreciate your endorsements.
And so hopefully tomorrow we'll do a live broadcast celebrating.
Exactly. But we appreciate your endorsements more than anything else. You all are going to be the best part of this run. And so we thank you in advance.
And so what to do right now, until further instructions and printed materials, if you go get your phones, the biggest thing anybody can do, if you go get your phones and start 5, 6, 7, 10 a night until you exhaust your phone list and give them the Rolling with Bolling why. And if you can do that, that personal endorsement, I promise you, means more than anything else in the world, because it'll get the name out. It will also give them the why. And the more we reach, this is about getting the ground game turned out. So go through your phones. Everybody you know that's in Jefferson County, solicit them to be Rolling with Bolling. And we love you and appreciate you and thankful for you.
All right. Thank you all so much for joining. This was great. We'll do it again. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Miss Mays, we're going to give you a call since clearly there had been no one after us for the past, I don't know, we've been doing this since the spring, and there was no one after us. So
No, she's talking about the Trump attorneys and that stuff.
I know,
yeah.
But what I'm letting her know is that the reason, so y'all know us, we don't stay over our time, but the reason that we were even staying there, continuing to stay there, is because in the past 6 months we've been doing this, there was no one after us. Otherwise, we would have packed up and did what we're doing now, which is standing in the lobby. But anyway, we will see you all next time. We will give you a call, Miss Mays. I keep calling you Miss Bolling. Mrs. Mays, we love y'all and we thank y'all for tuning in. Have a good one.
All right.
Bye-bye.
What is this here? Tripod?